introduce yourself, please.
Okay then. Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead. We are live now.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
live.
Yeah. Like I said, my name is Elvis Iruh. I'm a Nigerian. I live in the Netherlands for close to 30 years. Trained as a journalist and also a pastor. Uh, yeah, basically that's what I do. I'm a family man, married with children and grandchildren, and I'm so delighted to be in your midst this evening or morning as it may
Thank you,
be.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome to the show. Welcome to our new global media talk. So today is July 6th, 2025. Today is the weekend of American independence. So it's been like independence since Friday.
Yeah,
So I hope
congratulations to
all
you
of you
all.
guys had a wonderful independence. So, Mr.
Thank you, thank you.
Mr. Ambassador, we are going into the uh, topic today, which is the Africa and global community influence. So you will have the floor to walk us through what is the dynamics on this, and then give us a walkthrough of what this means, and then how we can contribute here as as um, as a host to be able to ask questions and also make comments.
Okay,
You have the floor. Yeah.
thank you. Um, Having lived here for close to 30 years now, I think I have some experience to share. Africa's influence has grown on the global community, and it has interfaced in many areas of life. Uh, we have become stronger in economic terms. We have developed our unique cultural contribution and increasing our roles in international affairs. I could imagine years before many of us came to Europe that Africa was on the background. We were people that existed without a voice. But over the years, we have been able to create a voice for ourselves. That Africans are more visible, are more interacting, more involved in the affairs of any country where they live. So we have actually become part of the global community around the world, and we are no longer taken as that unknown, unseen people. So the impact that the African diaspora have made has helped to shape many of the countries where we live. And I think you guys in America will attest to that. And for those of us in Europe, we are taking more serious. We've seen Africans revolve and even getting involved in politics. As I speak to you, we have at least seven members of parliament that are of African origin, which could never have been thought of about 2 decades ago. But now we are, and I've told them that in the near future we even produce an African migrant becoming the prime minister of this country because of the level of involvement. So we have Africans who are now contesting for political office, who have integrated and not forgetting about the African background, which has, for me, made it very interesting that we are not losing focus of where we come from. It is easy to live in a community like this, integrate, and forget where you come from. So Africans in the global community are still proud of their African heritage, of their roots. And as you can know with remittancy that we are still leading globally in supporting our homeland, where we come from. So uh, our participation is very influential. We are contributing to the economic growth of the various countries we live in through direct involvement in economic practices. Like in the Netherlands, uh, we have numerous Africans who have been able to establish their own business, their own company, despite the high taxation, despite the fear of control and all of that. But now we are moving from just being employees to employers. So not only are we employing Africans, we are also employing non-Africans. For example, my publication, I started with 5. Now we have 15 staffs, and most of them are not even Africans, but they are Europeans working for an African publication in Europe. So through this engagement, they have gone to know more about Africa. They have shown more interest in the things of Africa, and they are actually engaged in our efforts to advance the cause of Africa, to help Africa to develop. So we have had cultural exchange and created good awareness. So now, in the beginning when I came here, they were thinking of Africa as a country. That may be shocking to hear. But when you mention Africa, they think of Africa as a state like New York or California. No, but they know it's a continent, 54 independent countries. And each of these countries have their governments, they have their cultural orientation, they have their uniqueness, and that even in a particular country, they have more than one language. So for Europeans, that was new for them. They always thought that, oh, Africa, they are one people, they speak the same language, they have the same cultural background. And just on Friday, I was sharing with somebody that when I came, I was given an apartment where 3 of us had to live. One was a Togolese, I was from Nigeria, and the other one was from Angola. And we could not communicate. We were using hand signs to speak to each other in the same apartment because even though we look alike, but we have different cultural background, different language. And it took the Europeans a while before they understood that we couldn't relate properly, that we were just 3 different types of people being put together as one. So when we did complain to them, they were like, oh, but we thought you are all the same. You know, you all look alike, you're all black. So they assume that we all speak the same language. I say, no, I speak English. The others speak French. The others speak Portuguese. There was no way we could communicate, and yet we were staying together. So we have created that cultural exchange and that cultural awareness that they know us better for who we are, and that has helped in developing our global community to be stronger. Of course, is it perfect? No. We are still learning to develop each other. We are still learning to know each other. And I think it is an advantage for us now, and for those of us who are back in Africa, to make use of our expertise, our experience of having 2 cultures and 2 sets of living styles and conditions, that we can bring it to advance the cause of Africa, to develop Africa. Somebody has asked me, how come that when you guys come to the West, you seem to flourish, you seem to do better than when you are at home? And I said, it's the environment that has been created for us. They give us an opportunity to express ourselves, to be able to try out things. And we are not told, oh, you are not good enough, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You are given a chance, and when you put in your best, the opportunity to excel is there, which many times we don't get back in our homeland in Africa. That the opportunities are limited, they are shrinked. You know, it's in the hands of very few people. They are not being encouraged. When you have ideas and you go to the bank that you need a soft loan to be able to execute it, nobody gives you a chance. The collaterals they ask for, they are not able to meet them. But here, with just ideas, there are institutions that will help you, to direct you, to guide you as to how to achieve your goal and your aim or your objective. So we've also been exposed to good education. When I mean good education, there's no interruption of education. You can work and study at the same time. I'm trying just to compare notes to some of the things we face in Africa to the things that we have enjoyed here. That when I was doing my master's program, I could work and study. So it was easy for me to pay my fees. It was easy for me to keep my engagement with my family back at home, to even continue to support them while I was getting education. So I didn't need to stop my work to go study like we do in Africa, that if you want to, you cannot combine both you have to either study or you are going to work. So but I was able to combine both, and these are the things that uh, uh, this global community has given us that we can take back to Africa and enrich ourselves. And I'm proud and happy that you guys are organizing such a program like this, and I will need to do more like this, but also to engage our brothers and sisters in Africa to listen to conversations like this so that they can tap into what we have and what we can share and what they can make use of in their various communities and countries to make us better. So as a journalist, it wasn't easy. I won't tell you it was easy for me to start a publication that will strive and compete with other publications here in the West. It was a challenge, but because of determination, which is the African spirit in us, the Ubuntu, that gave me the strength to go on. So we have faced challenges, but we are overcoming those challenges, and I think it's making us better, and we can add value to our continent, our home countries, and help to build our country. So, in summary, the African diaspora, they are playing a very vital role. Uh, in bridging cultures, in bridging economy, fostering connections, and that enhance cultural appreciation, we enhance economic viability, and it is good for both sides. So it's good that we are tapping into this and that we encourage more of our diasporans, not just to be self-reliant here, self-satisfied here, but to remember where they come from and to be part of contributing, not just only financially, in terms of knowledge. I was going to talk to Ousman that next year, hopefully, I want to come to the Gambia and do something with the media. We talked about it when I came in 2022, but I think it's time now that we put those things into action to invest some of our experiences into encouraging our young people that they do well in whatever they set their minds to do, and particularly in the area of journalism, because communication is very vital to us. Thank you for this opportunity to share this with us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ambassador. Um, I just wanna just ask a few questions that you probably touched on. Being a diaspora and myself, and being here, I could tell you, I could relate to some of the points that you mentioned, which are opportunities of having study assistance while you're here, be able to work in the paid for your school. Those are definitely a plus when it comes to coming to diaspora, and then opportunities easily accessible compared to back home, which is really a plus. And of course, you will be able to also help yourself and help back home. Those are great, great things of Africans diasporans influence over the global economy. The only hand side, or the only area that I want to look at, I don't always look at the positives or the good ones, good sides, but I also look at the other side, because that's what life is all about. Um, if you look at the outflow of Africans in this 20th century, 21st, 21st century, it is unprecedented. And at first, I thought it was an opportunity, but now that I've been here for over 30 years, I think the opportunity has been over opportunized, if there's a word for that. That means the opportunity has been misused to the point that it is creating a deficiency of talent, a deficiency of um, um, what human resources as well from homeland. How many you from Nigeria? How many Nigerian doctors are in the United States? Actually, the best ones are Nigerians. How many talent are in the diaspora that are really, developing the mighty Europe mighty America. If you take those talent alone and have a good again, gotta have a good leadership, which we lack back home. If we take this talent alone and have a good leadership in place, people in this country will be going to Africa in the next couple of years. So yes, one side is an opportunity, like myself, get opportunity to develop, but I think it has been over opportunized. This is my own words. I mean, it never probably it's not into the dictionary, but I, can, I guess you guys can know what I'm talking about. That means the opportunity has been overly given. Because what had happened was the time that I was coming here in 1992, right? Imagine that time, how many, the way to go is people coming to Europe and America. Just the talk of the town. Imagine before in 1970s, that was never an issue. In late 1970, never, we barely see somebody who traveled. So what I'm saying is that, yes, the African diaspora is making impact worldwide. That is true. But our impact too is really a devastation when it comes to our land. Because of the vacuum being created, that's why we have this poor leadership. That's why we have all these corruptions going on. That's why we have, because the good ones are gone. So I just want to ask you, Mr. Ambassador, if you would tell me, how do we resolve this problem? Now that we have all this talent, yes, how can we get back on our feet to fill that vacuum?
I did mention that in my statement that not only do we focus on the diaspora, we also focus back to our homeland. The first question would be, why do people migrate? Why do people migrate? They migrate because back home there are lack of opportunity, there are lack of security. I think there's so much problem that if we want to analyze the problem, we're probably going to stay the whole day here talking about that, you know. So there must be a reason why people move. Because going on as a young boy, my father stood in the United Kingdom in the 70s, and he was in a hurry to come back home because he had a secured home. He had a place that he had hoped. He had a place that he thought he could build and accomplish whatever dreams that he had. He didn't want to stay in the United Kingdom. The weather was too cold for him. And he came back to Nigeria and he did live in Nigeria and did what he needed to do. But that same dad of mine came a time where he was telling us as the children to get out of that country, to go and seek opportunity elsewhere, because his dream has diminished, his hope has been dashed by the type of government and administrations that we have had that has governed us. So my suggestion and idea is that first we need to look inward, look for ourselves. How do we make Africa attractive? How do we make Africa sustainable? How do we make Africa to be the best that can compete with other countries of the world, that people would want to stay than leave? Because you and I would agree as we speak right now, if we go to Gambia and ask the youth, people under the age of 40, how many of you wants to leave? I probably think all of them wants to leave. Not caring what is on the other side, whether it's going to be tough, it's going to be difficult, because they don't feel that zeal, that joy to stay back at home and wants to take it out. So we have work to do in Africa. That's why I suggested that on this program, we need to also get people on ground like Ousman, so that they can communicate this message back to those on ground to say, listen, yes, maybe now we are having it good in the diaspora, but it is not what we fish for. It is where we found ourselves. Probably yourself, when you were coming to America, it was with the intention that after 3 years I'll go back home. That was all our dreams. But now, I will shock you. 2 years ago, my own mother was begging me not to come to Nigeria because of uncertainty, insecurity that was going on in the country. People were being kidnapped, people were being killed unnecessarily. That my mom said, listen, I'd rather be seeing you on video call like this than to have you come to Nigeria and be kidnapped and they're asking for 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. Where will I get that? That will kill me. So it's like rather be where you are. I mean, that's painful for a parent to say, to discourage you from coming home to come and physically see her. But because of everything that is going on. So what I would suggest is that let's, we in the diaspora, see how we can contribute to the discussions at home to have good governance, to have a better society than us, not just praising ourselves and saying we are doing well. We are not doing well when our people are not doing well. I don't praise myself that I'm doing well when I look back to where I come from. Because the Europeans are asking Elvis, how can somebody like you be here? You should be there governing your country. You should be in politics. You should be. But I said, there's no space for me. They will not accept me. They will not give me the chance. Even when I'm willing to bring my expertise, to bring my knowledge, to bring everything that I have acquired here to help develop our continent, our homeland. So, my brother, I think we need to work more with our countries and to see how we can develop. If Africa is developed, I don't think anybody wants to come and live here. I don't think anybody wants to live. The freedom that God has given us, the liberty that God has given us to have a good land. Look, Nigeria is over 200 million people. Look at the human resources capacity that we have. Look at the land that we have been blessed with. Beautiful weather all year. We shouldn't be suffering. But yet, more than half of the population are living under $1 a day. That doesn't make me proudful. That doesn't make me happy. So my suggestion would be that, and I'm putting that question to you too. How do we help our homeland? How do we help Africa that we can come to the level where we are, that we can share knowledge together, and we can share ideas together, and we can encourage these professional diasporans to go back home to be part of the system?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out before Sam and Usman come. The idea of going back home, because that's why we all are stuck at right now. If you want to go back home, those who left, when they go for couple of years, they come back. So this is where the issue is. If we can solve that, or we do a case study on that, because I know 5 people already I can count. They went back home, packed their stuff, told me bye bye. If you don't come there, I see you in the next life. And 5 years later, say, boy, what are you doing here? Say, back home is not easy. That's the question that they said. But again, I will let Usman and Sam to chip in. Yeah, Usman and Sam, who wanna come first? Sam, you wanna come or Usman?
I'll take it. I'll just wanted to first wanted to thank the pastor for all your time. I know is not easy, especially with your schedule, for taking this time to be here with us today. So you've really opened up this conversation big time, man. And I totally agree with you. Sometimes people in Africa have a different concept of what is in whether it's Europe or the US. Sometimes I even remind some people. Once in a while, I'll see people in America here that will ask and say, they want to know about Africa. They ask about Africa, and I tell them, and the other way around too. Gambians in Gambia that talks about the United States, they think is one country. They always think is America is one country. So yeah, in fact, they will be asking for some people. You will hear people saying, "Well, I have so and so. I know so and so who is also in America." I said, "Do you know how big America is?" So I'll give them an example. I said, "Just look at America as Africa. If you look at all the countries in Africa, 54 countries. Now you come to the United States, it's 50 countries, so they're almost about the same. There are different states that came together. 50 states came together and formed the United States. I also give them example. I say, one state in America is bigger than Belgium. One state in America is bigger than Netherlands. One state in America is bigger than
Exactly.
Sweden or Denmark. I give them that example. So think about all of those states together. I mean, is like almost a big continent. So that's how I describe it for people to understand. So, but yeah, I'm on the same line with you. Traveling is an experience, so this is a great opportunity, and I would encourage you, like you said, you mentioned you may go to Gambia. I think that would be a great opportunity. People like Ousman in Gambia there to work with them and help educate people. In other words, help educate people. That would be a great idea to educate them into your field and different things that people need to know when it comes to international relationships. So, but thank you so much. That's what I wanted to add to that. Thank you. I don't want to take your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Usman,
Yes, thank you
Usman,
so very much,
you
Sam Ceesay. Yes,
just
I think I'm
want
audible,
to
right?
Yes.
Yes, Sam Ceesay, thank you, and of course, Mr. Sawaneh, thank you as well. As I said, I missed the program for I think 2 weeks ago, so Alhamdulillah, I'm back with very fresh energy and of course with a high spirit. And then today's program, fantastic. I think I'm very much particular about the youth, and I understand that in fact there are some comments basically on the comment section of this program. Others are basically, projecting their complaints to the current governments that we have in Africa. That is compelling some of our African brothers and sisters to depart to Africa to go to Europe or basically in America. Pastor Elvis, just with the area of the youth, I think issue related to encouragement and the issues related to governance structure, especially issue related to good governance. I think this will give a very good opportunity for our youth, especially those that are living here for educational purpose, or they're going for a master's program or any other program. They go and finally, hopefully, if they are hopeful, they will surely be back. I'm very grateful and I'm also very delighted. The shift, or what do you call, the the trajectory currently is a bit favorable because we're seeing our brothers, they go for their masters. At the end of the day, they come back to the Gambia. That is a different case at the time. Our brothers, when they go, they find they don't come back again. They prefer to stay back and, of course, have their opportunity. They unlock their opportunities out there and explore them. And finally, they get themselves up there and see how best they can feed their family. So, but the trajectory is a bit different at the moment, and I think I'm beginning to, having that hope for Africa, despite the challenges. But I think there is a little bit hope for Africa that in a few years to come, hopefully Africans will not stay back in Europe because there will be hope. Some of the African countries have already taken the lead, that they have demonstrated a very scintillating good governance structure that the people are already excited about, and they are indeed very hopeful for the future of their country. So when they go for studies, they come back. And African leaders, as well, as I said, should be ready to invest in education, a very high level education that will maintain their citizenry, to stay back and do every program that's supposed to be done, so that at least whatever we do, we can stay back and then develop our country. This is very important. We must say thank you to the West. We must admit that despite the history, We don't have to dwell into that, but we must have to thank them. Now, we have very good brothers of ours that are, of course, in the United States. We have very good brothers and sisters that are in Europe, and they are doing an amazing work in Africa. So some of those advantages or some of those important impact that Europe or America have done for us, we definitely need to respect that. But it is high time. It is high time that we say bye bye and finally we come back to Africa. But that cannot be easy, or that cannot go easy if our leaders are not ready to demonstrate proper leadership decorum. They don't, are not ready to, demonstrate proper governance structure that will, of course, encourage every Tom, Dick, and Harry that, of course, lives in Africa or that lives in a particular country. As you said, we met in 2023. We had a very good coordinations, and then the program that you are offering for African people, recognizing them, giving them that global recognition, that is fantastic. Others may not know, but that is something that we ought to do, to recognize whatever we are doing. Some of our brothers are recognized in the United States. Not so long ago, Mr. Sawaneh was recognized in the real estate department. Okay, fantastic. Okay, when those expertise and that huge high level of recognition is attained in the United States, such investments will definitely boil down. It will trickle down into Africa, and I think we just have to get ready because Mr. Sawane, you have to come back and then invest in Africa. I thank you all.
Thank you, Osman, for that. And yes, that is true. And then this is what I'm saying to the pastor. Uh, it is really you are caught up in the middle, right? You love your country so much, you love Africa so much, you want to give back so much, but the tools are here, you know. Like it's like the world. They are going to a war, but the ammunition is here. To carry the ammunition over there, to make it more effective. Now, whether the ammunition can work over there, whether they have the arsenal to sustain or to make it operable, that is the thing. See, with all the talent that Sam and I, and other people, who are more talented than us, have, now you take that to Africa now. Is it going to be operable because of the structure of the system, political structure, infrastructural structure, and so forth? I've seen people who went with ideas and they tend to meet the government folks. You know, they either steal the ideas from them and throw them under the bus, or they put their feet under the ideas because they don't see any money coming to their pocket directly. But if the Chinese people come and say, "Can I use your river, your shore, and then get some fish?" Give you millions of dollars is under the table. They will allow those people to come and take care and then kind of like contaminate all their seashores. So my point here is that we have a problem. This is the reason why the diaspora talent is difficult to sustain. I'll give an example of one guy, a friend of mine. We went to college together when I was doing my undergraduate. I don't want to call his name, but he went to Gambia. He was studying. We were all studying criminology at that time. I was doing criminal justice. So he wanted to become an immigration officer. His dream was to become the immigration guy for the Gambia, to clean it up, to make it more modernized. He went with this American mentality, and guess what happened? He went there. He succeeded in becoming the head of the immigration department during Drammeh's time. One day I went to his office. I met him there. He told me, "Boy, I told you I was gonna come here and I was gonna clean up the system. Everybody, no backdoor deal, you know." But what did they do? They started doing multiple stuff in his office. He said, "Sometimes I will lose my shoes, or I will, some stuff. Some people will tell me that you will not survive here." They did all kind of infighting because he stood against the system court, you know. the system code of it, corruption and so forth. And guess what happened? One day, out of the blue, you know, the president Jammeh fired him from his position, and now he had to go to Europe, I mean, to England, and start he started all over. He didn't even come back to the US. So again, those who are coming, they came, like Pastor said, there's a resistance there, and Usman can attest that. Today, if you bring me to Gambia and you want me to like lead certain department with all my experiences, hell no, they will say. Why? What about us here? But they forgot to know that what I'm bringing on the table is going to be different from what they have. So they will go to the Marabu. Now I was started having nightmares in my sleep. The next thing is that I'm scared of my life. So these are some of the issues we have in Africa. Let's just speak the truth. This is the thing. So some of the diasporans, they feel here as a safe haven for them. Like nobody's watching you, nobody cares, nobody even have your time. Everybody is focusing on their own business. So at the end of the day, this place, what I want to say, the reason why we are not going, it created a system that that is convenient, for us. It makes us lazy to go back home. They created a system. They make you make money, and they're taking money every three I mean every time you work, one third goes to the government, two third goes to you. So at the end of the day, you know, they're making money, and then they're creating opportunities, and we are building their country. And then our country is difficult to make it back there, even if you are from here. So this is the issue. Unless and until, like Pastor is saying, people like Usman are on the ground there to race with them. But even Usman is thinking about coming here at some point, perhaps. So so how is that gonna work? Not example, but I'm just giving an example. So it is really difficult at this point. And then talking is easy, but doing is always difficult. So this is my let's Pastor can weigh in, and we can
Yeah,
definitely let it go. Yeah.
I mean, this is my suggestion. We need to demand accountability from our leaders. We need to demand transparency from our leaders. And that means that we that are in the diaspora, no matter how comfortable we are, we should not keep quiet. I'm one person who had campaigned vividly to stop uh, young Africans coming to the diaspora to seek for greener pasture. Because when I look at the investment they put into trying to get to Europe, some are investing $5,000, $2,000, $7,000. Their parents sell their property to try to get them across to Europe with whatever means, either through the sea or through the plane. But that type of money, if properly managed, can be invested here in Africa and start something small that can become big. And I've practicalized that. Uh, uh, I sat for 6 years in Kenya in a community called Kisumu, where I taught practically how they can empower themselves with little resources. $100, $200, I was able to establish people with small scale businesses that 15 years on, they are living on it, they are training their children in school. So I think our problem in Africa is not at the grassroots level, it's at the level of leadership. Because if you manage people properly on the lower scale, they will stay within that. Like my family, I don't send them money, I invest in them. Because if you send them money, they're going to spend it on funeral, they're going to spend it on parties, they're going to spend it on all sorts of things. But I invest in them by starting small scale businesses for them, and I literally teach them how to run those businesses to let them know that you cannot touch your capital. If my mother is sick, my father is sick, whatever, I don't touch my capital. Once you touch your capital, you kill the business. That little profit you have, that's what you can play with. So if you want to help somebody, you want to do something, it's within the profit that you make, not on your capital. A lot of people they spend all their capital and then they are looking for now who's going to borrow their money, who's going to do this. But I think the biggest challenge Africa has is that of political leadership. We have people in power, and I'll use Gambia as an example. When Yaya Jammeh came to power, I was with him as a young journalist from Nigeria. We covered him, we supported him because we saw that this is a young man, even though we are not promoting military administration, but we thought with his youthfulness, he'll be able to make a change. When I moved to Europe, I continued my support for the Gambia. I was part of the team that helped Gambia to structure the hotel system that they are enjoying today. We did the classification of Gambia hotels. When I came to Gambia in 1995, what they called a three-star hotel was not even a no-star hotel. What they called a five-star hotel was one-star hotel. So we had to help them from Holland. I mobilized resources and personnel, and Yaya Jammeh gave us the opportunity. And of course, it was difficult. You can imagine the hoteliers there in Gambia were very proud of what they were doing, and we decided that to say, listen, what they are doing is not good enough. You are depending on tourism and you're expecting people to come from the diaspora to come and enjoy Gambia, but you must provide something that it is not of equal standard, but at least measured to 80 to 90%. So then we put their pride down. We had to demolish everything and start afresh. And they had to now invest in renovating their properties and upgrading them, and now they were properly classified. And Ousman will admit today that you guys can now compete with Europe with your hotels. You can charge in dollars or in euros because the standards has improved. So somebody who is booking an hotel from Holland coming to Gambia knows that he's staying in a three-star hotel and he knows what to expect in a three-star hotel. He knows what to expect in a four-star hotel, in a five-star hotel. But that wasn't like that in the past. So we can do it if there is that political will. So it is not, I want to go back to Africa, I want to invest in Africa, but I want to invest in a place where I'm rest assured that my investment is secure and that my investment will not be in vain. Like you said, your friends went and they have all come back. Why did they come back? Because there's no enabling environment, and that has to be created. When that is created, automatically people will move back. The people that are moving back to Africa now are not direct descendants of Africa. There are people who are born outside of Africa who is thinking that we want to go back to our homeland, and they go there and they get the cultural shock because that is not what they are expecting. I have friends who have gone back to Ghana from America, and they are being frustrated now. No electricity, the roads are bad. Even just to have an appointment with the government office, you have to go through hell. You have to bribe. And all of these are institutions that need to run properly for us to have good results. Why can't we make use of our hospitals? We have buildings, we have hospitals, but there are no equipments. So the doctors are frustrated that they want to leave. After 7 years of education, you go to a facility where there is no equipment for you to work. Will you like to stay in such an environment? So brothers, let's find a way that we can encourage ourselves in the diaspora to keep putting our people under accountability. Our leaders must account for how they govern us. Our leaders must account how they spend our resources. Our leaders must account for how they are developing our homeland. That's my submission.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you. Sam in Usman, do you have any final words on this before
Yeah, I
Pastor?
just want to say thank you because we have like 15 more minutes and we have to move to the second segment of this program. I just want to say thank you, Pastor, for joining us in this program. Sam Sise.
Yep, same thing here. Thank you, Pastor. We always like to give opportunity to people like our guests, our guests here, to really speak out and let our fellow brothers and sisters hear what you're saying. And what you're saying really makes sense. And there's a lot of development opportunities in Africa in general. And people like you have set an example and continue to really lead and help and coach the young men and women to get to that level of commitment in developing our country. So, but thank you so much, though. I know you are also limited on time, so I want to thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you. Thank you,
please keep up
Pastor.
the good
Thank you.
work. I would like to be involved again. Just let me know on time so that I can properly schedule myself. And
Okay.
God is going to help us. Africa is home, and we're going to keep it home.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your
Thank you
time,
so much.
Pastor. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
All
welcome.
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Yeah,
All right. Thank
enjoy
you.
your dinner
So,
now.
Yeah, thank
all right. All right. So, Pastor is gone, and we are moving to the second topic, which is really, really very important topic. Uh, this Gamtel privatization. The Minister of Digital Economy, Lamin Jabi, has informed the National Assembly that the government is working with the World Bank to privatize the national operation of Gamtel and Gamcell. So when Standard put this news, they stated that over 600 staff will be laid off, and then there's really, really a concern. Even though, even though they said they allocated over 4.6 million US dollars to pay off these 600 employees, and some of them they've even allocated retirement plans. Uh, there's about 487 employees who they probably thinking they might want to take retirement, giving them 210 million Gambian dollars. However, we're gonna just look at the whole situation of this privatization that is going on. We heard about what happened with the Senegambia Bridge, the Thailand, situation there, and then this seems to be growing. And we heard about the port authority, the Gambian ports, and now Gamtel and Gamcell. This government, we need to really, really look at this. So I just want to open the floor for Sam and Usman. You guys can talk us through this, and I'll come in with some questions and probably some answers. I mean, some comments. Sam.
Yep. I know this is a very interesting topic, and it's something that I've spoken about, I think about a week ago as well when I first heard this. I will go back to what one of the commenters, the comments in the group here was talking about. Um, or one of the viewers was commenting about. So it's if you look at the bulk and the bottom line here is corruption is killing Africa. Corruption is our number one problem in Africa, and therefore is the number one problem in the Gambia. Until we do something about corruption, we're not going to have any institution that is going to work effectively for the most part. There are a few institutions, or maybe a couple, that may work very well. But at the end of the day, what is happening in Gambia is like this: we're spending more money than what we're generating. Our expenses and our losses are more than our revenue, and this really causes a lot of problems. And one of those problems is we get to a point where we cannot run anymore. We can't function anymore. We've got to find some help somewhere. When we actually, the help is within us, we can actually change our attitudes and do what we need to do to change. For example, if you look at this, is not the first one for Gambia to privatize the Gamtel. You notice in the Gambia Bridge was one of them. I think was one of the first ones that they tried to do, or they did already. It is sad. It is sad that our country is going in that direction when we really need to take a firm stand from the top, from the leadership role, to have people. We need people that have vision for our country, people that are going to look at our country and make changes, systematic changes that is going to bring growth, that is going to bring progress, that is going to bring a socioeconomic development into our country. That's what we need. And we're not getting that. That's part of the reason why we are privatizing, talking about privatizing Gamtel. But I look at that as a very sad thing because if you look at the history of Gamtel, during the First Republic, Gamtel was one of the best in the Africa, was one of the best, and they have one of the best telecommunication system in Africa there. So today we are one of the worst. Why? Because we didn't follow the path that we're supposed to, the path to success that we're supposed to follow. So my recommendation is, again, corruption is the number one killer. And we until we follow the corruption strategies to end corruption, and I've in my speeches I've done that too. I've also laid the five key ingredients in stopping corruption. I've put that in together, and I've put a proposal for that as well. If we follow that and end impunity, that's number one. We've got to end impunity. If we don't end impunity and let everybody take whatever they want and nothing happens, nobody has been taken to prosecuted and taken to prison, guess what is going to continue. So we've got to end impunity. We also, number two, we need to make sure that we reform our financial institutions and public administration system. That includes the comprehensive civil service reform. All of this we need to reform ourselves. We don't need to go to World Bank to come and reform us by creating a redundancy and reducing the staff and taking people and giving them severance pay to lay them off, because we're operating with so much expense, a lot more than what our revenue is. Okay, and Gamtel could be the other way around because that's how they were before. So changing that will be a good thing. We need to make sure that we also promote transparency in our country. Transparency is something our leaders need to promote so that we can work effectively and hold people accountable. But number four would be to empower the citizens to hold the government accountable. We should not be arresting citizens that are speaking up. We should be empowering them to hold the government accountable. And that includes our National Assembly that people elected and put in the office. They need to be able to hold the government accountable to make sure that our resources are not divested. Our institutions are not divested because we are selling Gambia. That's what that is. We're selling Gambia for our great grandchildren that are coming in with nothing on the plate for them to work with. Okay, and number five is to really close international loopholes. International loopholes need to be closed to be able to take our country in the right directions. Once we do all this, we can reform Gamtel. And if we reform Gamtel, like I said, we don't need the World Bank to come to do that reform for us. We can do it ourselves by having the right people in the right places. I mean, even in the third world countries, if you go to Europe and in America, you put a leader in a place and that leader cannot run the place, what do? Don't continue with that same leader. Change the leadership, change the institution, change the people that cannot run it. Bring the people that can run it and hold them accountable. Put a system in place that's going to make it very difficult for anybody to steal anything. Put a system in place, invest in the company to be able to get the top-notch technology so they can serve the country. Today, Gamtel should be the institution that should serve the majority of Gambia, from telephone services, because if you think about it, if Gamtel was right, they should be serving all cell phone service provided to the government, everything, any institution in the government. They should be able to provide internet in all government institutions, including schools, police stations, the hospitals. Wi-Fi should be available to every Gambian when they go to hospitals and different places like that. Gamtel should be able to do that, but we've not funded them to do that. Instead, we let them collapse so that we can bring other people. Well, it's not so that we can bring them, but we let them collapse, which causes not to be able to sustain them. Instead, we have to divest them and have other people to come in and take over and say, all right, we'll take over your stuff and we'll give you some money. When we can take 100% of that money, if we can restructure ourselves and manage that gamta. But anyway, and they should be the company also that should dominate in the country and not allow the private investors to come and dominate our people, dominate our infrastructure, telecommunication infrastructure. I mean, because when they do, what happened? The prices go up. As we know, the cost of living is high in the country, so prices of internet is high. Cell phone credits are high. I mean, you name it, they're all high because why? We're not where we need to be. So I'm going to stop here for a minute and allow Isman to come in as well. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Osman.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, Sam, thank you so very much. I think you have dwelled into many areas, and I concord with you because you point out almost about 6 areas that the government and the people of the Gambia should consider moving on or moving forward as a nation. Nation building or nation development is everybody's responsibility, from the president down to the last man. And then, if you are given the responsibility to take the affairs or to lead the affairs of a particular institution, especially a state-owned enterprise, I asked this question a few occasions, like what actually led to all this problem until Gamcel could not take care of their matters to a degree that they had to, fall short of criteria or a standard that the government is compelled to sell, gun cell to an international or outside corporation. That's really a case for me, because we understand that these are parastatal bodies, So if we understand that you have that self autonomy in terms of your dealings and responsibility. I think essentially what I also want to understand here is leadership is a case in some of our this institution. I don't know whether one is that whether the people don't want to work, or whether they have people that keep undermining them. That is a case for me, and I continue to question that. If you are given the responsibility to lead a particular institution, and knowing fully well that this institution that you are leading is a national asset, it belongs to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, up to the last man or the last girl or last boy or the baby in the womb, it belongs to them. So if you are given such kind of responsibility and you cannot handle it, or you are undermined, you continue to endure that one to a degree that the nation falls short in terms of disadvantage. That is really something that I tend to ponder until today. I tend to question this again to say we have what you call, fundamentally we have three arms of government that rule or that govern this country to the best of their ability. I think the issue of checks and balances is really a case, and I continue to question the National Assembly of the Gambia. What is their role in this country? If fundamentally they are the one responsible ensuring that the arms of government they are put onto check, all right, question them, bring them to the board, like you bring them forward, let us know what is really happening. Okay, from there the government, the executive should by all means ensure that the recommendations are fully implemented, or recommendation or punishment that should be netted off onto some of the wrongdoers, it should be respected. This is a collective responsibility. I'm so disappointed. I'm not happy at all that we couldn't handle the situation until we ought to go and then give our own communication system to an international. I think this is just a signal that privatization or the private institution or private communication centers in this country, like USAL, Comium and Official, they have already taken the lead in this country. And then honestly, that is not good. All right. We should be taking lead, and why they follow suit. Because you mentioned in the First Republic, effectively, it was, of course, Gamtel. they were leading the wave in terms of communication until not so long ago. Then Africell came in, Qcell came in, and finally Commune came in. They gave them the opportunity because that is the democratic space in terms of networking. But the reason why, and then the reason best known to them why they couldn't sustain these communication system to a degree that they had to sell it is something that of course is heartbreaking, and then I'm not happy. But I know for one of the major problem, as Sam alluded, corruption is something that we ought to fight together, and in fighting this we have to come together as one big family and ensuring that we of course we provoke corruption, and of course we try to um, reveal it as well. We don't need to keep issues that of course on the carpets. If we do that, then we continues to face some of these obstacles, and then when the obstacle continues to rise, then the nation falls short in terms of disadvantage. And I wish that we have to be more serious and see how best we can put this country forward. Thank you so very much.
Thank you both Sam and then both Usman. You have definitely touched um, all areas, except one area that I noticed, which is the reason why this is happening. Looking, reading through, and also following the history of Gamtel, and the communication system in the Gambia. I think what had happened, profitability became the key here. I think what if you look at the dynamics of communication has changed, right? Back 20, 30 years ago, we don't usually have even WhatsApp and other things happening. Now you have they have opened up a lot of like you mentioned Gamte, I mean like QCell, Commune and other communication line. So people have absence, right? Now, you know everybody going for where you can save money. It's all about good service and save money. If you look at Gambian communication system, the reason why we always get poor connections, it has to also do with like the people who are hosting this telecommunication. So being that Gamcell and Gamtel, like the staffing, well, I think what they observe is, and again, this all fall into leadership. That's why I'm a person who believes in small system or small government more effective. You know, everything I'm doing, I like to do that, make it the team smaller, and then give them all the tools and make them resourceful. Like go above and beyond. Because what that does is it cut cost and create profitability. If you are in a business of losing money, that's not a business. We go to business of making money. You know, definitely any business you see, you are the reason why you are there is to make money, right? So if you're losing money, you cannot work. And then I work in the financial industry for how many years? For over 12 years in a bank, financial institution, highly competitive institution. Every end of the year, they go they what they call something called head count. They cut head off. No matter what is going on, they go around each and every employee, evaluate you, and when that year comes, we all start to get scared. Because is it gonna be me? You can be as a hardworking, nicest person in the planet, you know, when that head counts come, it could be you because they don't care about anything. They just want numbers that make sense. So you balancing, you are doing numbers. So what is happening in Gambia is like they don't do periodical evaluation and goal settings. Okay, so if you are into goal settings as a company, every 3 months or every 6 months, you need to know your target and come and meet employees. Have the target been met? What is making us short? So constant evaluation is within the year would help you get to your goal settings. And once you get your goal settings, that's when profitability comes. But Gambia, people are laid back. Some of these people in these different, departments, these leaders, all they do is They go to work. Sometimes they come late. They don't even track their time. They don't even track, their employees. I mean, sometimes they don't even track, like the hours they're putting in. Somebody can be working and just walk right back, right out. No family problem, so don't get it and get it and doing all the stars out of thing, whatever. They can even, make up stories, and then this favoritism. We don't, we always don't say these things, but we're trying to cover up for no reason. And all this leads to poor leadership. You know, imang tonya for moe kanamung bad quality nepotism, and we are covering up. We are not doing the work. See, the most important thing here is that I think what Gamtel and Gamcell, what the problem were, and then our government people could have taken care of this. But the reason why they only by privatizing perhaps they would boldly take an action to reduce that number of people, in order to become an effective institution. So I think Gambians, and Gambian, leadership, they are they always run away from the reality, which is to take bold decision and make changes so that they can really also implement or also like implement whatever ideas they have. Because the thing is, I'm telling you, when they want to change, when I was working for a bank and they want to make changes, they bring a new leader who doesn't know me and Sam in that institution. And he will come and wipe everybody away without remorse. That is change. Guess what happened? Those who are left will be causing this man out. But guess what happened? He doesn't care because this new person is just new. But if the person that is there that has built rapport with the employees, it's difficult for them to do that. We are human beings, right? We don't have that hard to be doing that, making so much head cut, and at the end of the day, people's family will be affected. So if you look at this system, the privatization, the reason why private companies make money because they make aggressive moves. Yes, we government. The reason why, even in the US here, I will also work for government. I work for the Bronx DA's office. It's a city job. Guess what? Nobody cares. Employees don't care because they're getting paid. It's free. The money is there. They don't even meet the target goal, and they are laid back. When you come to with a problem with them, you come to do a paperwork. They take their sweet time because you know why? It's government. So this is the difference between private and government. So I think what had happened with Gamcell and Gamtel at some point, and this is just my analysis. I think the profitability became an issue, the productivity, and because that became an issue, they decided to think about having somebody come in, take all this headcount out, and make a smaller operation forces that will do the same job or more than the existing one. So before I was going to jump in and criticize the government, and blame the government, but when I thought through the way private company works and the way government works, I started to see what is that they're trying to do here. So sometimes it's easier to criticize, but it's very good to look at the larger picture. I think, being that I work in the government sector in the US here and the private sector, I see how what they're trying to achieve here. So it might be very bad, definitely, for the 600 people that are going to be laid off. Where are they going? We have to think about that. Of course, they're going to give them $4.6 million to see how to compensate them or to have them transition to other workforces. But at the end of the day, we just need to see our system. I blame the leadership, of course, but we need a revamped system and then get Gambian people to work, effectively. Because if we don't do that, most of our institutions will fail. Effective workforce, having people who would implement, leaders who are aggressive in getting tasks, in getting goal settings met, leaders who are there to push their followers, to motivate them, to create incentive, create bonuses, create a competition among employees, to go above and beyond. I think this is the way to go. The reason why we are failing is because we don't have a good system, a competitive workforce. We don't have incentive workforce. We don't have rewarding workforce. We don't have evaluation systems that will keep us on track. So this is my thought about it. But Sam, Usman just dropped. But if you have anything, we can just wrap it up.
Yep, yep.
End of this.
Yeah, time is running out, but yeah, similar to what I said, earlier, government, especially GAMTEL, our institutions, or some of them are operating with losses. They are spending more money or losing more money than what they're generating. So,
Exactly.
like I said earlier, and you don't run an institution like that. Institutions that are supposed to be generating money, you cannot run them in a hole. That won't happen. The other
Exactly.
thing is, yeah, the other thing is we cannot. It's 2025 now, right? We cannot be working with 2001 products and equipment and tools and technology when the world is moving fast enough that they are going ahead of 2025. So instead of a Gamcell investing that 4 point whatever million into um, retiring people, yeah, that there are people that may need to retire. I totally understand that. But I think if they take that money and find the right leader that has the mindset of how to run a business, bring that person in, and invest that money into their organization, into the institution, and get the better technology, I think they can turn things around without laying off over 600 people. They may have to lay off some people, but not that many. But again, the most important thing is efficiency. And there was a time, or several times in the past years, I've been talking about budget and profitability of the government, things like that. When you run a business, you look at your P&L, profit and loss statement, every month. You have to look at that. I suggested that for the government to look at their budget because they don't have a P&L. They work under the budget. So once they put the budget together and put that in place, they need to be able to, cabinet need to be able to sit down every month at least and look at their budget. Where are we and where do we need to be to make sure that they can control the expenses as well? I mean, but those are all part of problems there. And it's sad that we're going to lose over 600 people from Gamcell when we could have done something better and change the leadership, bring in people that can change the operation for a positive result, and be the top of technology in that field there and in the country, and not allow the private ownership enterprise to take over from us. So there's a lot of work that need to be done there. I think the government, like I said earlier, they don't have the right people that can run it. They don't know how to do it. They don't want to make the change. And change, you've got to change. You've got to change. You cannot operate on the same thing for 10 years and losing money and you don't want to change. That's not going to happen. It's only going to result in bankruptcy or divestiture, just like that. Divesting it and privatizing it and things like that. That's where we are, and we should not have gotten here. We could have done a better job there. So at the end of the day, it's all leadership, leadership, leadership. If we have the right leaders, they will be able to do this. But without that, we will end up divesting a lot of our institutions in the country, which is not good for our country. Now we're going to share that profit with those people. In some cases, they actually take more money than we do as a country,
Exactly.
which is not good. Which is not good when we could have been more efficient and keep 100% of the profit in the country there. So, but anyway, that's all I wanted to add to it.
Thank you.
But thank
Thank you, Sam. I think this
you.
is a great idea. I mean, that's
Yep,
a great thought. I mean, let's just focus on leadership,
yep,
getting changes, making changes, bold decisions happen.
yep,
Operate, like it could be on the government, still on the government, but
yeah,
still have a mindset of profitability and gaining profit and then cutting people. Employee cutting is not a big deal as long as it's not just done like massively like it is now. This could have
yep,
been gradual, and then they could have been narrowing down the system, over the years, and trying to make adjustments there. But upfront, making changes here, the only way they could have done it, like this, the way that they are proposing now, which is really going to detriment about 600 people at instantly. So this is where the problem is. But if they had been working on this years ago, we wouldn't have get here, and have this repercussion. But again, I agree with you, Sam. Leadership, leadership, leadership.
Leadership is it. That is the key to it. If leaders don't know what they're doing, they don't know how, then we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep,
Thank you
that's
so
it.
much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Sam.
All right.
Sam.
Yeah.
Enjoy
You
the
have a
rest of
great
your day.
evening.
Thank you, our viewers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We catch up next week, inshallah. Thank you.